Look,
If you had one shot,
one shot,
one opportunity
one opportunity.
to seize everything you ever wanted,
What up, Fight World?
one moment, did you capture it?
Would you?
Just let it slip.
Yo. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti, he's nervous, but on the surface he looks calm and ready to... What's up, y'all? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with more fight news. So, the reason I play Eminem Lose Yourself is because it really captures the feeling, the overall tone of the message in today's video. And I want to talk about none other than Vicious Victor Ortiz. Now, I recently read an article, and he's saying that he has bad blood, he feels unsettled, and he has unfinished business with none other than Floyd Money Mayweather. He wants a rematch. He said he'll even do the rematch for free. He says, I want a rematch with Floyd, and I'll do it for free. I don't even need the money. Those are his comments. Now, I just got to analyze Victor Ortiz, let you know my stance and my feelings towards Victor Ortiz. And I ultimately think he doesn't deserve a rematch. Here's why. Victor Ortiz, when he first bust onto the scene and was getting like recognition and people were watching for him, I'm like, okay, this kid, he has the physique, he has the speed, he has aggressive offense. He's big for a welterweight, or when he was at 140, he was a big kid. So I'm like, this kid has potential. And then the networks get involved. They show the whole backstory. He had an interesting underdog story, a Rocky type story, if you will. Him and his brother were living with their parents, and they were living kind of in a trailer park, impoverished area. Then all of a sudden his dad left, and later on his mom left. And he said, yes, one day she just never came back. And that's something difficult to deal with. So him and his brother formed like a bond and became closer. He lived with relatives, or they were basically orphans. So I was like, damn, that's a cold story. This is crazy. You know what I mean? I'm always a sucker for a good underdog story. And then later on, as an adult, when he started fighting, he had an Ortiz tattoo on his back. It was pretty big. And he got in some kind of argument with his dad, and he was like, you'll always have to see me because my name's on your back. So he got it covered up. He got the tattoo covered up. So if you look at him now, his back, it's like a tribal design. And it used to have an Ortiz. It used to say Ortiz, but now he got it covered up because he did it to spite his dad. Like, fuck you. Fuck this name. You were never there for me. And like I said, great underdog story. And I was expecting a lot from this kid. However, it didn't really plan out how I expected. He doesn't necessarily have the level of composure or maturity to deal with certain situations, in my opinion. If you look at the Maidana fight, he quit in that fight, which he could have went. You know what I mean? Like, he could have kept going. He fought Lamont Peterson, and he was clearly winning, knocked Peterson down, then let Peterson come back to fight to a draw. In the Floyd Mayweather bout, he was obviously frustrated, and he lunged off his feet to headbutt Floyd Mayweather. And people who dislike Mayweather, they're going to obviously always side with whoever's against Mayweather. If Canelo says Mayweather's ducking, then they're going to go with Canelo. If Victor Ortiz does this, if Zab Judah does this and says this about Floyd Mayweather, if you don't like Mayweather, most likely you're going to side with whoever's talking shit about him, or whoever has something to say about him. And it's no different with Victor Ortiz. A lot of people are like, oh, it's a sucker punch. Oh, Floyd Mayweather's cheap. So I base things not only on one occurrence, but based on patterns, history. What does history tell us? And I don't even think it was a sucker punch. I think all's fair in love and war, and all fair in fighting. It's the fight game, the hurt game. So you can't do no cheap shit and expect someone not to fight back. A perfect example of the opposite of this would be Andre Berto versus Robert Guerrero. Now, Robert Guerrero did some things, whether you want to believe so or not, that were quote unquote dirty. They weren't things that you have to do, or some refs would have called him on it. Like in the first round, Guerrero's punching Berto with one hand, and his other hand is behind his head, kind of holding it still, and he's just like bow, 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 punching him. So that's dirty. You're not allowed to do that. However, the ref didn't call it, so Berto, in my opinion, needed to find some way to counteract that. If the ref's not agreeing and seeing what you see, you can't be frustrated and worry about that. And I think Berto allowed his frustration to show a lot early, and then I guess he just finally got over it and started more or less to open up and fight back a little bit more, and he made the latter rounds a little bit more competitive. However, you can't rely on the referee to save you per se. So I think Mayweather did what he was supposed to do. I mean, that's a grown man. You guys are both grown people. You know the rules. You've been boxing long enough. Even though Victor Ortiz is younger, you lunge off your feet, headbutt me. You started this. Like, you created. You wanted to take it this route. So you got to live with the consequences. It's like me being a photographer, which I actually am a photographer. But let's say I'm at a lake and I want to take a picture of a pond. And I want to get a perfect still shot of the pond. But right before I go to take the picture, I get a rock and I skip the rock through the pond. Now that's going to create a ripple in the pond, and it's going to have the little waves, as you guys can see. And that's like me being mad that I threw a rock and messed up my picture and created those ripples. Victor Ortiz created those ripples, or those chain of events that led up to him getting two-pieced and knocked out, quote unquote sucker punches, which some of you guys call it. He created that. For every action, there's a reaction. There's a cause and effect, and I firmly believe in that. So had he not lunged off his feet and headbutted Floyd Mayweather, then there would be no reason for the referees to break them up and him not to know and have his hands down and all that. He created that glitch, if you will. So I don't feel sorry for him. I don't think it's a sucker punch. You fight dirty and you get two-piece. The end. Like, that's your fault. You created that. You started that. It's no different than if I go into a bar and I start talking shit about some guy and he was like, all right, step outside. And then he wants to fight me. And I'm like, no, I don't want to fight. I was just kidding. Doesn't matter. Some people aren't, there's no just kidding. Well, I could just turn this on or off. You got adrenaline going and it is what it is. So as far as a sucker punch, I don't agree with that. It's not a sucker punch. He shouldn't have did that. And furthermore, he did a Radio Raheem interview where he said he was intentionally trying to break Floyd Mayweather's nose because whatever he thought Floyd Mayweather was doing illegal or whatever. And you can't all of a sudden become the Punisher and take law or take matters into your own hand. Like, oh, yo, I'm going to try to break his nose. Like, that just shows a lack of composure. I think Zab Judah is affected by that same lack of composure at times. Mike Tyson recently on the Gennady Golovkin Ishida undercard, Edwin Rodriguez showed it. He thought he got low blowed, which was very insignificant because I didn't really see it. And he thought he got low blowed. The referee didn't call it. So as a result of him thinking he got low blowed, he intentionally punches the dude in the dick. And the dude was out like a good, like probably one of the longest counts because you have up to 5 minutes. And he took almost the whole full 5 minutes to recover, if not the whole thing. And normally I see people shake it off. So obviously the dude was in pain. And again, you can't take matters in your own hand. Like, fuck the ref, I'm going to do this. I don't agree with that. And then in the Josecito Lopez, to me, that was the most acceptable excuse for why you couldn't continue to fight. Because your jaw was broken. However, it still reflects badly because you have this whole aura or black cloud around you because you quit in the Maidana fight. You were clearly winning Lamont Peterson fight, and you let him come back to fight to a draw, which is a fight where you could have won. The situation with Mayweather off your feet to headbutt him, and now you quit on the stool with the jaw broke. So again, that's why people look at Victor Ortiz like that. And like I said, it's disappointing. I liked his underdog story. I thought he had a lot of potential. He was an underdog in the Berto situation, and he beat Berto convincingly, and it was a good fight of the year. So I expected more from him. And then to top it off, his jaw broke, and I'm like, okay, so that's going to be motivation. He's going to come back strong. He's going to be, and I keep giving this dude chances. I'm like, he's going to come back strong. And then I hear Richard Schaefer say Victor Ortiz won't be back till September. So I'm like scratching my head like, September? Why so long? Like, his jaw's all cleared up from what the reports I read. And come to find out, he won't be back till September because he's on Dancing with the Stars. Like, come on, man. Like, I just can't see it from a fighter, from a warrior, from an actual competitive person standpoint, how you could get your jaw broken and lose the fight before that and get your jaw broken, and the first thing on your mind is doing the fucking twist, chubby checker, and doing the merengue and salsa dancing on Dancing with the Stars. I can't see it. I don't see it. It feels like I'd be out for blood. Like, I mean, look at people like David Price. He got knocked out. He got folded like a lawn chair, just dropped by Tony Thompson. He's already signed up to do a rematch. There are other big paydays like Derek Chisora and other options for him to go and not take an immediate rematch by the person that just folded him. And he said, fuck that, because he honestly feels he's a better fighter and he wants to redeem himself. Mike Alvarado got TKO'd. He thought it was premature. He's like, man, I got the skills to beat him. Came back and rematched him his very next fight. Rematched him, and he beat Brandon Rios. And it was a great fight, hell of a fight, and he beat him. I'm much more a fan of those types of mentality in the sport of boxing than I just lost my fight. Then after I got my jaw broken and quit on the stool, I recovered, and the first thing on my mind is Dancing with the Stars. Now, I have nothing against Dancing with the Stars. I don't personally watch it. Floyd Mayweather was also on it, but you got to keep in mind, I believe Floyd Mayweather, when he was on it, he was in his retirement before he came back and beat Marquez. So it's a clearly different. And at that point, Floyd didn't go out on a bad note. I think he had just beat Ricky Hatton, gave him his first undefeat before Pacquiao, and it is what it is. So in my opinion, at that point, up even to that point, Mayweather had already done more for the sport, and he wasn't ending on a bad note. Like, he was ending on a good note. Just KO'd Ricky Hatton, who beat Costa Tszyu and was undefeated, beat Paulie Malignaggi. So he ended on a good note. So his decision makes a little bit more sense. But Victor Ortiz hasn't ended on a good note, and that's what you care about, really? Dancing with the Stars? So I don't know. Can you just vote him off? Like, do I have to text a number? Can I just vote him off to get him off earlier so he could come back and redeem himself? I don't know how Dancing with the Stars works. I don't really watch it, but we should all call in or whatever you have to do, text. If it's like American Idol, text. Vote that motherfucker off. He needs to get back in the ring and start proving stuff to his fans. Fuck it. A couple years ago, all you guys hopefully know about the Brandon Rios, Victor Ortiz. They're from the same city. They were once good friends. Now there's severe bad blood. Shit, I want to see that fight. 2 years ago, I was like, Victor Ortiz would kill Brandon Rios because I thought he was too small. But shit, Brandon Rios has a hell of a chin. And we seen that, I mean, he was 161 at his last fight with Alvarado. Fuck, I want to see that fight. Let's see what Brandon Rios can do. But honestly, that's how much faith I had in Victor Ortiz at the time. Because Brandon Rios he hadn't done as much as he's done clearly now. And I was like, Brandon Rios would get killed by Victor Ortiz. Now, I don't know. I just always thought Brandon Rios was too small, but obviously as time unveiled, I see Brandon Rios isn't as small as I thought, and he is able to add on the pounds and still look good. So it's my opinion. Victor Ortiz, I really think he's one of those people who he's used to not having nothing, and he doesn't know how to embrace or deal with that level of fame. I heard when Kobe Bryant was going through his divorce with his wife, he was dating Kobe's ex-wife, Vanessa. I heard he was dating the singer JoJo. I don't know if you guys know the singer JoJo. So I think he just likes the fame. He's used to it. He's not used to getting this much attention, and he really just enjoys it, which there's nothing wrong with that. I think Adrian Broner's the same way, but make sure the thing that puts you there is your number one priority. And I just can't see how Dancing with the Stars supersedes revenge. And then you're calling out Floyd Mayweather saying you have unfinished business and you want a rematch. And that's cool. It's a big money fight. But at the same time, why wouldn't you want to rematch with Josecito Lopez, the person that broke your jaw? That should be the first order of business instead of a rematch with Floyd that you actually caused by headbutting him. So that's just really my opinion on the whole matter. Let me know what you guys think as far as Victor Ortiz. Where does he go from here? What do you want to see him do? Who do you want to see him fight? I just feel his priorities are very scrambled. He, to me, can make 147. He obviously makes 147, but he can make 154 as well. I think he has the frame to do it. He's big enough, strong enough to do it where he can transition. And if you look at it, 140 is the most stacked division. I would say 154 is probably the second most stacked in all of boxing. And then you have 147. I would say those are all in the top 5 of most stacked divisions. And 2 of them he could clearly make, 154 and 147. So there's a lot of talent in that pool. of 147, 154 fights that he can make. It seems like he should be focused on redeeming himself and building his brand again. So that's my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Until next videos, Ego signing off.